You're listening to Death Metal Disco.
So you've been listening to me ramble on for quite some time about this, that, and the other. So allow me to ramble on briefly about how I operate this podcast. There's lots of options for how you want to post and host your podcast and put it out into the world. I did a lot of research on mine, and for me, I decided to go with Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard of Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's free. That was a big selling point to me. Free is good. I like free. There's also tools for creation to help you record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer or your tablet or whatever you're using. I find that to be effective. So we got free, we got recording and editing, both big deals because they are. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you. So it can be heard on Spotify, it could be heard on Apple Podcasts, it could be heard on Google Podcasts, and many, many more. That is a huge time saver because I don't have to go to each of those things to upload. So I like that distribution right then and there. And again, it's free. You can make money from your podcast if you're into that kind of thing with no minimum listenership. That could be cool. I think you should try it. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So if you've been on the fence about making a podcast and the only thing holding you back is how you want to host it or create it or whatever, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's worth it. Hello, hello, hello. It has been a very long time since I've bothered to do anything with the podcast, and I apologize for that. I've taken a much-needed, very long break. So, welcome to Season 2 of the Death Metal Disco Podcast. I'm James. I'm going to keep this intro really, really quick because this is almost a 2-hour episode. I will be talking to my friend Steve Bogar. He is the singer of a band here in Denver called Seed of the Sorcerer, Womb of the Witch. You can find them on bandcamp.com. I don't know if they're on the other streaming platforms, but I will definitely link their Bandcamp in the description of this. You should check them out if you like your metal kind of stonery doomy and brutal. They Steve's got fucking killer vocals, and yeah. So anyway, thanks for listening. My next episode will be probably more me rambling and not so much talking to somebody, maybe. I don't know. I'm probably going to put out a new episode every 2 weeks as opposed to every week just because my work schedule is crazy. So I'll see what I can do, but I love you all so much. Thanks for listening, and thank you for your patience. For all of those who have reached out, I really, truly appreciate it. Love you. Be safe.
Oh, yeah. My wife is in the background correcting me on how long the cat's been dead. She's like, it's 2 years, not 1 year.
That sounds about right.
Today? She's telling me it's the cat's death anniversary.
Oh my God, today?
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Way to bring
I
the
wouldn't
mood
have thought
down.
about it, but thanks for that.
Like, we were having a good day before. Like, no,
Yeah,
it's
right.
all shit.
Perfectly fine Saturday morning. Let's think about the dead cat.
Oh man, one out for the homies.
Right.
You can come with him still.
Oh. So what else is new, brother?
Oh man,
Yeah, I feel that.
that's a loaded question.
Right.
Mostly just work shit, but
Yeah.
you know, bands doing stuff, or at least waiting for stuff to do. So
Yeah, we're doing a bit of that. We're having our first like actual practice in 2 years, like tomorrow.
yeah, I saw your post, or the band's post on Instagram
Yeah.
with the drums.
Yeah.
Has
That's
it been pandemic related that you didn't
Yeah,
do
it's
anything?
been like it's probably good to get out of the way now because I don't want to talk any shit about my bandmates. But
I do.
not talking shit. But so you know, like the first little bit of the pandemic, it was kind of like, all right, well, we'll just cool off, no big deal.
Right.
everybody else, we all have life shit going on. I bought a house,
Yeah.
bass player had a second kid, blah blah blah. Just all that kind of crap.
We're all at the age where that stuff happens now.
Yes. And then, but our Corey, our guitar player, he was like, he got really, really wigged out by the pandemic and was very, xenophobic. Like,
Sure.
You're not xenophobic, agoraphobic. Excuse me. Just like not leaving the house, not seeing anybody. He had heavy restrictions at work, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah.
And so we like accepted the offer for this show, and I was fully convinced we were going to do it without him. And then I guess that's what like lit the fire under his ass. He's like, "Oh yeah, let's do it." But the reason it took so long is all our shit's at his place.
Oh yeah.
So we just kept not going to get all the shit. So,
Yeah, that's pretty standard. Like we keep all our shit at our drummer's house, and the pandemic stuff, like we were pretty leery at first, like especially after lockdown. Once the lockdown happens, we were like, do we want to try? Because it's just 3 of us that live here. Derek, our other guitar player, lives in the Bay Area, and then our bass player is he lives in New Mexico. So getting together as a whole is not something we could do regularly. But excuse me, just burping into the microphone. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so I had been sick for the first 3 months of 2020. Had a fucked up back and all that shit. And by the time I got better, it was right as everything went into lockdown. And so right about that time is when we started practicing just as a 3-piece again. And even with the lockdown, I think we waited a couple weeks just to see. And then we're like, so, how do we feel? Do we feel okay? Like, do we? And we said, well, if anybody even has like the sniffles, we're just not going to do it. And so that's kind of how we've been doing it the whole time. Like even lately, we've probably been practicing more. I've had to cancel for work a couple times. We had some other, Ryan got sick. So pretty sure he had COVID, but he didn't get tested.
Right. Yeah. I just got done with the Rona. It was like the least stressful thing that's happened to me in the last 6 months.
That's
I had no symptoms. I had no symptoms and just had to sit at home for a week.
Oh,
it's like, all right.
So you tested positive, but no symptoms?
Yeah. So I don't get headaches very often. And I woke up to go to work that morning and I just had like a really bad headache.
Oh yeah.
There was tests at work. I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to take the test just to see. And sure enough.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no cough, no fever, like none of that shit.
I woke up.
I was kind of achy for a day or two, and that was really about it.
I broke a fever because I had mine over the week of Thanksgiving, and I woke up. Isn't
that funny? We're at the point where I had mine when.
Right. Like, when did it hit you? Where were you when 9/11 happened? Like, I'm going to remember this forever. So I woke up the Thursday before Thanksgiving, and I had a brand new cough, and I was like, don't fucking tell me. Don't tell me that I got COVID. So I was like, we'll see how it goes. By the end of the day, I had a cough and a brutal headache. And I was like, interesting. We'll see how tomorrow goes. And I told my boss, because I work from home most of the time. I told my boss, he's like, just FYI, I'm planning on going getting tested for the Rona tomorrow. And she's like, okay, just keep me posted. And so sure enough, the next day I woke up and it was even worse. No fever, just the cough. And the cough wasn't horrific, but it was bad and it was dry. And I was like, okay. So sure enough, I went and got tested. There's a urgent care just 5 minutes from my house, and walked in and got tested. And then they're like, oh, give us 15 minutes. About 10 minutes later, a doctor, not the guy who took the test, but a doctor came in. He's like, hey, he's got a paper. I'm Dr. So-and-so. And as soon as he had the paper, I was like, fuck, here we go. And he fist bumps me. It's like, I'm Dr. So-and-so. We fist bump. He's like, congratulations, you have it. I'm like, fucking shit. Really, you're congratulating people? And he's like, oh, you know what to do, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, cool. Give yourself 10 days from the onset of symptoms. I was like, that's yesterday. He's like, okay, so you're already started. Like, all right. Stayed home. I worked a little bit. I was off the week of Thanksgiving, so I didn't have anything to do really.
Right.
And then I played just lots and lots and lots and lots of Xbox and try not to die. I overdosed on like Robitussin and NyQuil and tea. I've never drank that much tea in my entire life. My throat hurt, but that was because of the coughing, and my head hurt. So the headaches. I broke a fever one day, and I think that was like day 5 or 6. It was like 101 or 102, something like that. Nothing crazy.
Right.
And other than the lack of energy, I didn't have much for body aches, just complete exhaustion. And I didn't do anything, just completely wiped out.
Right.
And then the headache and the cough was no bueno. And then I lost my sense of smell too. And that sucked. And then I was drinking a black chai tea. Or it was a chai tea. And loved the way it smelled. And when I could smell that again, I was like, oh, I think I'm healing. I got that spiritual healing going on. I drank so much fucking tea, though. My God. Tea and water and NyQuil.
I'm so bad at drinking water. It reminds me I should drink some right now.
I drink about 6 liters a day.
Fuck.
Not the last couple days. The last couple days I've eaten a lot, and that makes me less thirsty. But yeah, I try to drink about 6 liters a day. It's harder when I travel, which I travel for work. And I've been on the road for the last 5 weeks. I go out again tomorrow. And that makes it a little difficult, but I just, mostly because I'm training people, so I can't just be like, hang on guys, gotta go piss again for the 9th time. But then once I get back to the hotel room, I just go full Aquaman.
Yeah, I'm bad about it. I get chided by my wife about it often. So
most people are.
She's like, "Oh, you're on your 4th cup of coffee," but yeah.
So we're already recording, just FYI.
Cool, all good.
How do you even say your last name? Is it Bogar? I've always said Bogar.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, cool. Like Humphrey without the T. That's
correct.
Just how I have been saying it, but
yeah.
So Steve, I'm here with Steve Bogar from Seat of the Sorcerer, Womb of the Witch from Denver, Colorado. Denver-ish, Denver-related, Denver adjacent. You live in Aurora still, right?
I do.
So I don't think you're very far from me. I'm down by Southlands.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, not very far. I'm Hampton Tower.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was going to stop by a liquor store up there today to look for something that I don't think they actually have.
Oh, there you go.
I forgot what it is now, so probably not going to go. I was all about it yesterday, and I'm like, now I can't even remember what it was. Some bourbon. Whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
Hampton Tower is a nice area, though. I like that area.
Yeah, it's good. Enjoy it.
Did you get your smoke all situated?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Got my little jar of weed right here. Got my pipe. I'm all set. Whatever.
Good man. Good man. I'm smoking a cigar I picked up in Sacramento a couple
I know.
Days
I
ago.
can see you on the video.
Yeah.
Is my camera not on?
Nope.
Oh, well, fuck. I didn't even realize. Hold up.
You don't need it. I'm not recording the video, but unless you want me to.
Oh, it says it's off already. What the fuck, camera?
You're on your computer? Or...
Yeah.
I'm just glad I remembered my password because I paid for the Zoom subscription last year. There he is.
Hey.
Got the flannel because it's Colorado.
Right, and I've entered that. I'm in the back half of my 30s, fat guy trying to have a flannel phase. So
that is not a phase I have ventured into yet, so that's okay. But
I've
always been the fat guy, and now I'm in my 40s.
Yeah.
Flannels I always associate with like the lumberjack community and like 90s grunge bands.
Right. I tend to, I don't know, I think it's just the way I look. I tend to get more of the lumberjack look than like the hipster. So.
Yeah. With the beard and everything, that's par for the course, so no big deal. Yeah, so you're my first guest of season 2 of the Death Metal Disco podcast. Woo, woo.
Hey.
I really, really thank you for doing it.
I fucking appreciate you having me on, dude. It's fun.
I've been talking about trying to get guests for a long time, and I had to before. I had Greg Burgess from Allegion, just because he and I are homies. We go way back. Like I was in Allegion before he was in Allegion. And
so he's a poser, is what you're saying.
He's a total fake. No, he doesn't even know how to play guitar. I don't know. He plays too many strings. That's not true at all. The guy is a ninja. Where I was going to go with that? Oh yeah, and then I had my mom. My mom came on in.
That's fucking awesome.
June. Yeah, she's a psychic medium by profession.
Holy shit.
So I tell people that, and they're like, dude, your mom sounds cool as fuck. And I was like, she's pretty cool. Like, kind of crazy, but you kind of have to be. And so it was a good episode. People gave me a lot of really good feedback on that. I was
Nice.
Surprised actually, because I didn't
Well,
think people were like, you and your mom just, you get along so well. I was like, you kind of hope so.
Yeah, right.
If we didn't, I wouldn't have said, hey mom, you want to be a guest on my podcast? I would have just
Right. I get along with my mom, but she would be a fucking boring podcast guest. So.
People always ask my mom or ask me if my mom's ever given me readings and stuff, and she used to way back when I was a kid, but nothing ever came of it. My sister insists that she predicted her meeting my brother-in-law now. My sister says that my mom told her about that, but I think too much of the mom part of her brain kicks in, so she tells me what. Like, I don't think she means to. I think she just tells me what she thinks I'd like to hear.
Right.
But I mean, I've had long time when she still lived here. Some of my friends, my best friends, they all got readings from her, and they're like, "Dude, your mom is amazing." I'm like, "Okay, cool.
That's awesome.
Glad she gets it for somebody." Like, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
But it is. So that episode, really, the Burgess episode, went really well. That we were just chilling in his kitchen and just chat. It was a 2-hour fucking episode.
Nice.
Just because we didn't shut up. Like, it was. We never see each other, especially now that he lives in Canada, and sort of splits his time. He comes back when he's got band stuff to do, because Legion's got people here, and then Nuclear Power Trio. He's actually coming back, I think, in 4 days, sometime soon.
And see, the thing about those bands is they have these things called fans.
Right. Like, I wonder what that's like.
Yeah.
And what people don't know. Very, very often, except for like locals. A lot of the locals will still know that I was in the band before they got signed, and I quit before they got signed because I was just burned out, and told them, if you don't get signed, if you don't go and get signed with the music you guys are writing, then you have fucked up severely. And sure enough, like later that year, they signed with Metal Blade. I was like, kind of sad, but at the same time, I wasn't at that point anymore where I wanted to try and do it all the time. And having to drive to Fort Collins a few times a week was killing me financially.
Right. The only reason my band works is because we at least all are on the same page about that. None of us want to like kill ourselves doing this band for any reason. Like, it's got to be fun. Oh yeah. And we're not. And if things take a minute, then they're just going to take a minute, and like whatever. It's no big deal. Yeah,
that's how Empyrean's been going for.
Yeah, just
since they reformed.
Tempered expectations, and just doing it for us, really.
We're like, maybe we'll get away for a weekend, go like on a little weekend tour, and I'm like, when? Yeah. When are we gonna have time to do that?
Right.
So, and this recording process, the album we did before Perdition, the second album, that was all DIY. We did everything ourselves, and it took fucking forever.
It's funny you bring that up, because this morning I decided I should just pick a random episode of your podcast to listen to, just to kind of get the mojo on. And I listened to that episode where you talked about doing that record. And I think, what else did you talk about? You talked about the new Fear Factory record.
Oh yeah.
The Father's Day episode.
The Father's Day episode.
All right.
Good times. I hardly ever, like, I'll listen to my episodes like when I edit them.
Right.
And sometimes I'll go back and listen to it like right after it posts.
Right.
But outside of that, I talk about so much random shit. Like, I have no idea.
Right.
Which episode I talked about what, unless it's in the description or the title.
Totally. It's just funny that happened to pop up, because it took you guys forever on that one. See, I'm the asshole. I'm the asshole in my band, because they finished 95% of the instrumentation for our album like a month and a half before everything shut down.
Oh yeah.
And so that was like almost 2 years ago, and I've still got some vocals to finish. So
yeah, that was going to be my question. When's that supposed to come out? But I guess now we know, not for a little
while.
Yeah,
it is going to happen this summer-ish.
Oh look, is it full length?
Yeah, it's weird though, because it's a full length. I think it's like, 7 minutes, somewhere there. So
nice.
A full length.
Nice.
But we did, like, I think we all, even being a Doom band, the biggest problem with so much Doom is albums that are way, way too long.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They just get out of hand and you lose interest. And so it's 4 tracks, but like the final track is something like 16 minutes long or something.
So it's like
that. So it's like
Doomy Opeth.
Yeah, well, we're far more repetitive and less talented than Opeth, but
I mean, they set the bar pretty high, so
right for long songs. Yeah, there's a big long like droney part in the middle. It's lots of because everyone, as doom bands do, everyone just got real obsessed with their pedal boards along the way.
Yeah. You've met Ryan, my guitar player, right?
Yeah, so he's the best dude. He actually came and tried out when we were looking for a second guitarist.
Yeah, he told me that. I was like, would you even have time? And he goes, I don't know. So yeah,
right.
Well, if you do, that's
it was
cool.
awesome, and he's the coolest fucking dude.
Yeah, he's great, and his music knowledge, like about bands and stuff,
right.
never ceases to amaze me. Because I'm kind of still stuck in. It's not too often I'll actually delve in and listen to new music, or even a lot of new releases from new bands, unless they're bands that really strike a chord with me. And he's just like, have you checked this out? I'm like, no. Have you checked this out? No.
I go in spurts. I'm not real good. I'm not real great at keeping up with like stuff as it comes out.
Right.
But then I'll have like a random Saturday where I'll sit on Bandcamp and just listen to 20 fucking records. And like, all right, well, what was good and what wasn't?
Yeah, I don't utilize Bandcamp as much as I should, and I don't utilize Spotify like I used to. But then I discovered that Apple Music will work on my Android phone, and I can just play my whole iTunes library through that. Right. And so half the time I'm just like, all right. And then I can add new shit to it without paying for it. I paid the monthly fee for it or whatever. But so like people did their year in Spotify review when that came out at the end of last year, and mine was like, it was my podcast, my friend's podcast, and I think the new Fear Factory album, like one or two other albums were on there, and it was like, did I really use Spotify last year? I wasn't sure, and I really didn't.
I do the Apple Music thing too. So I like that. I like the interface much better.
Yeah, I totally do.
I like what you were saying about the ability to import my personal library in there. Spotify is a pain in the fucking dick for that.
Oh, so. I haven't even tried it with Spotify.
Yeah, you have to like sort everything into playlists. Oh, you can't do it it's shit.
Yeah, no, I already use iTunes on my PC for I'll rip CDs and shit to it, and I was paying for the yearly Apple Match or whatever they call it to match up something you rip with something they have in their database.
Oh, okay.
And I just like my iTunes library. I got a lot of variety in there. But, it's a lot easier to use than Spotify as far as just the whole interface, like you said.
Right.
Just ashing all over the goddamn desk. This cigar I picked up at a store in Sacramento, and I can't even remember what their name is. I got their business card on my counter, but they do they roll their own cigars, and that's all they sell. And I didn't know that when I went there. Just search cigars near me, and found them, and they were a cool little spot. But these cigars they're different because they're fresh, and I've never smoked a fresh cigar, and they're a little less tightly wrapped than if they had been done and sat for a long time. But it's pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty good. Just ashes all over the place.
Yeah, that'll happen.
It does.
That's funny though. I totally forgot about that. We were both in Sacramento, like pretty near the same time.
Yeah.
Mid-December.
Actually, I was in Vegas in December, but I've been in Oakland for the last 4 weeks, and then Vegas the week before, and then I'll be in Oakland for the next. I think I got 2 more weeks scheduled before I'm off for a week. And even then, that week that I'm off of traveling, I think I might have to go back out there. And then through the end of March. It's like I basically live in fucking Oakland, but whatever. It's all good.
Fucking, that sucks. Sacramento is a fucking dump.
I haven't been to Sacramento since I was a kid, and I was like maybe 7. And I don't know why, but the only thing I remembered about it was as we were driving around as I was a kid, for some odd reason, I had it in my head that everybody there had gray hair. Everybody. And that for the longest time, I was like, oh, Sacramento's where all the gray-haired people live. There's no reason to that. No logic behind it. And I was supposed to meet up with a friend. And as I'm driving there, it was like an hour and a half drive-ish. And
we did that drive. We flew into Oakland.
Oh, yeah.
And drove to Sacramento.
He texted me, and he's like, hey, I got COVID. I'm like, well, fuck. guess I'll go find something to do in Sacramento for a few minutes, for an hour, 2 hours before I drive back home, because I had the day off in the middle of the work week. I was like, I don't want to hang out here. Might as well go drive something. I didn't want to go to San Francisco because it's a shithole.
Right.
Like,
right.
Like people talk about how dangerous Oakland is, but the Oakland dispatchers are like, San Francisco is worse. Right now, San Francisco is insane. And
I'm sure.
Coming from them, that says a lot, because Oakland is not exactly a safe haven.
Right.
But it's all good.
Well, yeah, and it's crazy how that's changed too. Because I went to when was I in? The last time I was in San Fran was like 2008, and it was very clearly nicer than Oakland. We stayed in Oakland very clearly, and 15 years will fuck a place up.
Oh, and California is a whole different world. So.
Oh yeah, Sacramento. Like, I mean, Denver has its areas. Like, all of Sacramento just felt like I was in The Walking Dead. Like, it was just like desolate. Fucking junkies just moaning and walking around, shuffling around all over the place. It was fucking bizarre. I mean, we were there like on the weekend, and there was like no one around and nothing to do. No places were open. It was fucking it was gross.
Yeah, they say a lot of the drama now started with the lockdown stuff.
Right.
Just because, just like everywhere else, crime rates started escalating because people were more in a mood of desperation.
Right.
Which isn't surprising at all. It's sad. San Francisco and shit is already expensive enough, and I'm sure it's even worse just over the last 2 years, just like Denver. But they said it was a lot of the homeless population started acting extremely aggressively with everything going down. I never had any issues with the homeless in Oakland, and a lot of the stuff we were doing that I am doing is downtown Oakland. And the homeless, at least in the daytime, they're cool. I remember one of my first trips there was this, I was going to the police administration building, and I was at the stoplight, and this old, he was like a bluesy, he could have been a bluesy guitar player like B.B. King, but he was a homeless dude.
Right.
And he was just like heading off to work while I'm standing at the stoplight waiting for the crosswalk to turn green or whatever. And I was like, yep, just got some stuff going on. He's like, that's cool, man. That's cool. I was like, how are you? He's like, can't complain. Homeless, the usual. I'm like, all right. And then he says, have a good day. And off I went. And everybody else was just homeless people everywhere, but none of them really bothered you at all. Never once did I get asked for money. Not once.
Right.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't
nighttime,
either.
Nighttime probably a little sketchier, but
yeah, I would guess.
That's why I stay in Berkeley. The hotel there is on the marina. It's out of the way. They used to have a lot of homeless people camping across the street from the hotel, but they shooed them away because they're redoing that whole street now. And
no, gotcha.
So it's a lot less of that, which is whatever. As long as they're cool, I don't care. As long as they're not shitting on the sidewalk in front of me, I'm pretty good.
Right. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the shitting on California segment of the podcast.
There will always be a segment like that, I think. Gonna pencil it in for intro, shit on California, body of work. Yeah, I don't mind California, though. Like, I always said if I had to be homeless, like if I knew that was coming, get out to the Bay Area, because the weather is usually pretty good.
Right.
No snowstorms to freeze to death in. No blistering heat waves, at least in Berkeley. I don't know about anywhere else, but... So, you guys have 2 EPs, right?
Yes.
I think I've listened to the first one a lot. Pretty sure I bought the second one on Bandcamp, but I haven't listened to it. I actually wanted to listen to some of it today, and I just didn't have time. Work is killing me, and that's fine. Yeah. Pays the bills. As long as I don't actually die. But if I do die, I need to be traveling, because then my sister gets a very large life insurance payout. So,
well, there you go.
She'll use it. The cat won't.
Yeah, I haven't listened to the second one in a little bit. I haven't listened to much of it in a little bit. But yeah, I think it's like it's not as solid as the first one, but it's interesting because there's a lot of different things we're trying on.
Right.
And not all of them land, I don't think. But it's like that's how you grow.
Right. I agree. You guys do
but we are the other side of it. We are probably going to like retrack and remix some of the stuff on that.
Oh, nice. You guys do all your own recording and everything, right?
Well, no, actually, so we do our stuff at All Aces Studios. It's a Austin Mini. He's like he's in a shitload of bands. He's been in every band ever. he's one of the head honchos over there at Seventh Circle.
Oh, okay. I still have yet to go there.
But yeah, anyway, so he's tracked all our stuff, and he's the fucking best, because we were like, now here we are 2 years after putting out that second EP, and we're like, oh, well, he's like, I kind of want to remix it. And I was like, I kind of want to redo some vocals, and I kind of want to add some more noise. Like, all right, cool. So we're gonna do that too.
Just roll with it, yeah.
Yeah. So because again, we are not a band that is on any kind of time or schedule constraints or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it because we want to and we can, and
that's the idea. Like, that's the way I look at it. If most of our music is so different song to song, like, because we have a lot of influences and stuff, and we're technically a melodic death metal band. Yeah, but we have some really, really heavy element stuff, and then some really melodic stuff, some doomy stuff, like the Lathe song we put out. That's our
which is fucking awesome. By the way,
thank you.
Congratulations.
It's one of our favorites. We originally weren't going to record it, and we're like, no, I think we need to. And I was all right, and we were. Yeah. The problem is instead of doing it ourselves this time, and taking all the sweetest time in the world, is we actually went to Shane with Sonic Quartered, who is amazing. The guy's got fantastic ear for everything, songwriting, lyrics, just the production of everything. Right. And I was like, I just want to be held. If we don't schedule something, we will never work towards it. And that's been the entire time I've been in the band. We'd have to book a show to make sure we get ready for the show. We were never just show ready.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what happened to us with this Seventh Circle show we're doing next month. Yeah. Like there was no discussion of like, oh, we're having band practice this weekend, and then it became like, oh, we got the show offer. Are we taking it? Yes. Okay, so we are practicing this weekend, and then everyone's all right. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Let's go.
Yeah, and then with Derek and Rob being in different states, that makes it difficult because Derek and I are pretty computer savvy and recording savvy. Ryan's getting there. Greg, our drummer, not computer savvy at all. Like, he's very good with hands-on stuff. He could, retile your floor or whatever. Very, very good with that. But the moment he has to sign into anything on a computer or a phone, he's like, nope, count me out. Can't do it. And then Rob, our bass player, is potentially even worse with technology than that. So, like, trying to do shit remotely, difficult.
Well, there you go.
Difficult, but...
it is. So I'm assuming they flew in and tracked here.
They did, yeah. Derek, the offer was on the table for Derek to record his own stuff in California and then send it over to Shane, but he works basically remotely too, but he works for Apple. So they started changing when they're coming back into the office and whatever. But he came in and did his own recorded with all of us there at Shane's, and then so did Rob. There was, that a lot of it wasn't quote unquote studio ready. We had general ideas of what we'd been doing with the music for the last couple of years. And then Shane, he even said in a tweet when he shared the song, he worked on the album and we were using him as a producer and not just somebody to record us. And I said, hey, whatever input you have, give it to us. And he said, cool. And I think that actually brought out the best of every part of it. Even little things like suggestions for guitars. There were a lot of things that actually he suggested that we implemented in every single instrument. And I think that it's us, but it elevated what we had already down.
Yeah, and I mean we'll work with Austin, forever, because he we not so much on the time constraint part, but he's no problem just like telling us when something sucks.
Right. So does Shane. Shane's brutally honest.
But he's also he filled in on a lot of shows for us, so he knows how we play and what we're playing. So he's got an all around feel for it, and he's not afraid to just to push,
Yeah,
So.
that's always
But-
good. And that's
and
why I
also-
chose Shane too, because I'm a big fan of March Ryden's music and what they've done and
Right.
other stuff that he's tracked and edited and whatever. I'm just like, yeah, we got to go with Shane. So it
Right.
helped, I think.
And I mean,
a lot.
and it's been cool watching him like really grow as a producer of music, because he does lots of bands and he's just getting better and better and better. And I listened to our first EP versus the single we put out last year, and like, I mean, the production is like through the roof on the new stuff. So.
That single was awesome too. Like, I
Thanks,
fucking
dude.
loved it. And that's like, I'm not, I couldn't give a shit about weed culture or 420 or anything. That's when it came out, right? Was 420?
Right.
But,
Yeah.
And it's Necrobongacon, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? I was pretty sure.
Yeah.
That shit, that was such a good song. I really, really, really enjoyed that song. And I didn't expect that I would really enjoy it. Like, I was like, it'll be good. I like what they've done. I didn't expect it to be that. And that was cool. I dug it.
Well,
So,
thanks, man. And we did do like the weed thing, because we were like, the Doom band, you got to do the weed thing at some point. And then, but it's the whole song is, it's kind of making fun of stoners.
right. As it should be.
Really. So like, of course they're easy marks for zombies because they're fucking stoned and lazy.
They're just high. I mean, it's every zombie horror comedy ever has the stoner who usually gets off.
Yes.
But if like, did you ever see Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah, of course. Good one.
He was the fucking hero.
Yeah, right. For
Which was
once.
awesome.
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
Us potheads deserve fair representation in
I
Hollywood.
agree. It's been a while for me, but
Right.
and even then, whatever, to each their own. Like, I don't judge. Let people do their things. And but I got it up on Bandcamp right now, looking at everything. So
Yeah,
I
it's
forgot
weird.
that was
I hardly drink anymore. I like beer occasionally, but yeah, I just have, in my old age, just pivoted toward weed, I guess.
I have a lot of alcohol at home, like a lot of whiskeys, and but I never drink. It's very rare that I drink at home. Like, although even with the traveling, a couple weeks ago, I actually ended up buying a bottle of Jack at the grocery store and bringing that back and having drinks at the hotel restaurant every night. But I was by myself, and I was just like, fuck it. I don't have anything to do. But at home, it's rare that I drink. Sometimes I'll drink when I have a cigar. I haven't even smoked in a few weeks. So
Nice.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Just let people do their shit as long as they're not hurting anybody. And weed is not going to really, you're not doing much damage to yourself with weed. I'm probably doing more with this thing than you are with yours.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. I will also
Monster
smoke
energy drinks.
way too many cigarettes, so I'm getting.
Well, there's that.
Good.
So.
Which, especially is bad if I'm drinking. Holy fuck, when I drink, I smoke.
Oh, yeah, that's super
crazy. Yeah. But this shit's all good. I think it's weird though, because I didn't really notice it until COVID happened, because I was still drinking fairly regularly, but that's because I was going to shows fairly regularly and drinking at shows. And then that went away, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm really not partying because I'm not going to shows or playing shows."
That's for me too. That's usually when I would drink, is if I'm out at shows, or even if I maybe go out with friends, I might have a drink, or depending on the friends, maybe a few more than a drink, and then gotta worry about driving. I definitely don't drive if I've had any of the sweet leaf, because I think the last time I actually did that was maybe 2009, and my dad was living in Fort Collins. I was living with him, and went out with some friends. We ended up at a friend of a friend's house, smoked a blunt, high as shit, and I remember having to drive. It was like a half-hour drive up to Commerce City where my dad was living, and I was freaking out thinking I was going too fast, but I remember looking down at the speedometer, and I was doing 25 miles an hour on I-25. And I was like,
oops,
this is dangerous. I should never, ever do that again. That was the last time I think I did that. So, but again, I don't ever, it's pretty rare that I'll smoke. It's been a while. So
good.
Not
good
technically.
On you. I need to knock that shit off, but
not allowed to with my job.
But that's I'm a goddamn, that's my It's my fucking coping mechanism. Shit goes to shit, and I just have cigarettes.
Yeah.
This,
I mean, it could be worse. You definitely have a worse vice.
Right.
Like, yeah.
But I'll get. So, have you been to any shows since?
No. Well, actually, what was the last show I went to? I think it was a bigger show not that long ago. Maybe it wasn't a bigger show. I can't remember. Everything's a blur, honestly. There's been some that I want to. Like, I really want to come or go and see Incantation when they come through, but I'm scheduled to be out of town, and that's just in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then the Cannibal Corpse show I want to go to, but I'll be out of town for that. I wanted to go to Cattle Decapitation, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I got home, and I was just like, no energy. Yeah. I'm honestly surprised that those still went through, to be perfectly honest. Like, just with the Omicron.
I think it's back, dude. That fucking that obituary show was last night. I thought about doing that. I thought about doing that, but I mean, it fucking snowed like the dickens, and that place was still packed out last night. That place was still packed out. So.
I was supposed to go to my buddy's house to watch Joe Bob on Shudder. And it was snowing so bad, I was like, nope, I'm not fucking leaving. Totally forgot about Obituary.
Yeah. I need to catch up on some Joe Bob.
Yeah, Joe Bob's great. I didn't watch it at home either. I don't even remember what they showed. One of them texted the rest of us, and they're like, such cheesy goodness. And I was like, the moment you tell me it's cheesy goodness and it's a movie I've never seen, like, I'd have to be in the company of friends in order to really appreciate it, because I don't watch bad movies by myself. Usually it's pretty rare, but
I don't know. I do a fucking fair bit of shit.
Right. And my buddy Chris is the same way. You know, he'll watch, if it's labeled as horror in any way, shape, or form, he's probably going to watch it, and which is fine because he's the filter for me.
Right. I'm less that way about horror than I am with, like, I just love, like, the cheesy action movies. It's more
anything from
bag.
The 80s.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, like the whole Canon Films fucking 80 to 90s run.
Those always hold a soft spot in my heart, though.
Right. Oh, there's so much crap, but when, like, when a legitimately good one sneaks through, you're just like, hey!
Or when they know that what they're doing isn't really anything spectacular, but they own it, and they fucking, they go hard with it. We know we're making a bad movie.
It's that magic era where, like, even if they knew that, they still, like, there's so much, like, what's the word for it? People, there's, like, all the nostalgia cinema tries to capture that, but the problem is those movies can never be made with the same sincerity that those original.
For sure, like, you miss a lot of the genuine.
Because anytime you see it now, it's like they're pointing at it, like, "Hey, remember what that was like?" But it's not as like, "Oh, you're just making this shit in the moment."
Right. That's 100% true, I think. And making a bad movie these days is just making a bad movie, and
and they suck and they're boring, and I feel like I've been to when we were in Sacramento, we went for a show, but then we had the rest of the weekend there, so we went to the movies twice. We saw Ghostbusters and Spider-Man.
Oh, that's right. Nice.
And it's just like, yeah, it was kind of nice, but also fucking movies are boring as shit and fucking not any good.
Yeah. Speaking of Ghostbusters, did you see the new Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
I don't know. It was all right. It
had a good amount of its nostalgia.
It was certainly better than the last time they tried to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
But it was, I don't know, like, it was weird how they, like, committed to these characters right until the original cast shows up in the last 5 minutes and saves the day, and you're just like, okay.
A little bit predictable.
Right.
But, I mean, it worked out. I like Bill Murray was kind of excessively asshole-ish in that.
Right.
And that made me laugh. And I was actually glad. Did you stay for the end credits?
No.
Because they had Sigourney Weaver. She had her little cameo in there, and that was great.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
That actually made up for the ending. So.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I thought I did like the car chase scene in the middle of the movie.
that was pretty good. It had some good points.
I'm a sucker for a creative action scene.
Oh yeah.
So
Like, what's your favorite car chase in a movie?
fuck. I don't know. It's probably the whole climax of Road Warrior. Does that count as a car chase? Yes.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah.
Mad Max is a car chase.
The whole thing. It's just a car chase.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably that.
That's a good one. I always have to say Ronin.
Ronin's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that movie's fucking great, and not a lot of people know it.
Right.
But the car chase in that, I think, was extraordinarily well done.
Yeah, that one's great. There was another one I saw recently that I was stoked on. I can't remember what it was. Probably wasn't a new movie.
New movie.
Oh yeah,
terrible.
I watched the fucking Terminator movies, and just those movies are basically car chases as well.
The OGs, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
I don't think I've seen, because they came out with one just a couple years ago. Was that Terminator Genesis?
There was that one, and then there's been the other one after that. What the hell is it called? Dark Fate. When they brought Linda Hamilton back for that one.
Yeah, that one I did watch. I don't think I watched the one before that.
Yeah, they're just, that franchise is just dead. They've got nothing to say with these movies, and they're boring and shitty.
Yeah, like, let's send another thing back through time to do the thing that we couldn't do the first 4 times we tried to do the thing.
Right.
And Dark Fate, I didn't hate it either, but it was not good. Like,
right.
It's had points that I liked, but it was.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the first two are awesome. You can't go wrong with the first two. Good. Which is fucked up because Terminator 2 is 30 years old this year.
Fuck, dude.
Exactly.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think it's. Well, I watched a bunch of that shit when I was home with COVID because that's all. We didn't have shit else to do.
Right.
And that early James Cameron, man, fucking going from Terminator and then making Aliens like right after that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because that's his Aliens is literally this dude's like pretty much his second movie ever as a director. And technically third, but I think it was really his second. And it's like one of the biggest movies that had ever been made at that point.
What was his first?
He was a director on like Piranha 2 or something.
That's
silly.
Something, yeah.
I don't have this normally stored, but because I watched all these recently.
You got to watch it, and then you go back IMDb.
Right.
Like, who the fuck are you? What else did you do? I'll find myself doing that, or I'll see a movie with like. I'm really good with facial recognition. Like, I will recognize people that I have maybe met once 15, 20 years ago. Might not remember their name or where I met them from, but I'll be like, I fucking know I know you. And then it'll take me forever. I'll see a movie or, watch a movie or a show with somebody who's like, I know that person. And I'll immediately get out the phone, IMDb. Thank you for IMDb. Tell me everything I ever need to know, which is pretty handy. Thank God for the internet. Thanks, Al Gore.
Right. But that's all. It's all such good stuff.
So,
but I don't know what other.
So you did go to Obituary last night, yeah?
No, I didn't. Fucking like you were saying, I pussed out because it's snow. I was like,
I'm too old to be risking my shit for.
Too old, too cold.
Cars are expensive.
Yeah, that's. Fucking, they sure are.
I'm not even sure if mine starts because I know I need to get a new battery. And when it's cold, it really, really, really struggles. And it's been sitting in my garage for 2 weeks. So I gotta after this, I gotta go run a couple errands. I'm like, I hope the fucking thing starts. Otherwise, I'm gonna be pretty annoyed.
Fingers crossed, buddy.
Well, thank you. I'm sure it will, but it just might take it a couple extra seconds of before it kicks in. Fucking. And I haven't won the Powerball yet, so can't just go buy one immediately.
Right. I'm ready to win the Powerball anytime now.
I've been ready I think they brought it to Colorado in 2001-ish, and I've been saying I'm going to win the Powerball ever since then. As soon as that hit Colorado, I was like, I'm going to win that bitch.
It'll be my sort of luck where I'll win it, but it'll be like the week before I go into hospice care, and it just ends up paying for that.
Right. I'll get hit by a truck outside the lottery office the day I go to claim the shit.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God, that's exactly what will happen to me. Like, I told you, bitches. I'll be celebrating right as I get slammed into by a fucking, be like a FedEx truck or an Amazon Prime van.
Exactly. Those things are fucking everywhere.
They really, really are.
I work in Parker.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like,
Where are you working now?
So I run the.
Are you allowed to say?
Yeah.
My tens of listeners might.
I work in an elementary school.
Oh, really?
How about that?
That
in
works.
Parker.
That's safer.
And yeah, it's good. It's a great job. I really like it.
What are you doing?
So I'm running like the before and after daycare program.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So I have none of the responsibilities of the teachers, but I still get to have fun with the kids.
Yeah. And kids can be fun. Like I don't have kids. I don't.
Me neither.
I'm not out to get kids or anything, but I'll spend time with my friends, and most of my friends have kids now, and the kids are half the entertainment of hanging out at their houses these days. So,
right.
Because
I totally dig the kids. They're awesome. Like I don't
have to if that's what you're getting.
I don't have any of my own either, so like there's you appreciate them in a different way too.
Oh yeah, for sure. My friend Jamie, his wife Sandy, she works for Adams County School District, and that's what she's been doing for like 20 years before and after school program shit. So she does. I don't remember how old her kids are, the kids she works with. They have a couple kids of their own. But yeah, I feel like if you don't love kids and you're doing that,
right,
you make bad choices in life, or at least can't be entertained by kids. If you hate kids, that shouldn't be for you. So,
right.
I couldn't do it just because I like kids, but not that much.
Yeah, my wife says the same thing. She's like, I couldn't do your job. So.
Is she sitting across from you right now?
No, she's somewhere else. Oh, she's over there.
Doing laundry.
Yeah.
I got to do laundry too.
Laundry, it seemingly never ends.
It's true. That's the last couple of weeks. This was the first week I came home a night early, so I got in. I think 1:30 in the morning is when I finally got to my house Friday morning, and that's the first in 4 weeks that I've had that extra full day home.
Oh shit!
So it's like usually I empty my suitcase, throw that shit in the laundry, throw it right back in the suitcase, get ready to leave Sunday night. So I leave again tomorrow night. But and then this coming week I'll fly home again Thursday night, and then I won't leave again until Monday. So I'm like, wow, it's like I'll have a 4-day weekend almost.
Fuck, dude.
That's
intense. Do you enjoy the traveling?
I do. It can get old, especially when you're going back to the same place over and over and over again.
Right.
And like when I get to the hotels, I always unpack. I put my shit in the dresser, unless like the hotel is skeevy or something, and you're like, oh my God, I'm not going to risk bed bugs right away. And but I haven't run into any of that. But it helps. I remember reading when I first took the job, it was somebody who travels for work, and they say in order to a suggestion they have, instead of feeling like you're living out of a suitcase, unpack your suitcase. And I was like, that actually makes sense. So now if I travel and I don't unpack my suitcase, I'm like, oh fuck, I hate traveling. But if I'm able to unpack it, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not actually living out of it,
Right.
But I'm not bouncing place to place in the middle of the week because I'm not at a position where I have to go to different meetings or stuff at different sites. So I'm not flying every other day or anything, but that would kind of suck. I don't think I'd be down for that, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's good. At least I'm glad it's not. Glad it doesn't feel like a chore most of the time. So.
Yeah, most of the time. Now, it does suck when you get delayed excessively.
Right.
I haven't had any flights canceled yet, but I'm surprised by that just because, airlines are getting decimated by Omicron and blah, blah, blah. So they were canceling a lot of their flights because of all that shit. And one of my coworkers, I fly United just because Denver's a hub. He flies American, and they're still canceling flights every week. Americans canceling flights because their pilots are getting sick or not showing up or whatever. Staffing shortages are everywhere. So, but he's like, yep, I was delayed here. And
I was in Mexico in October, and the only reason I made my flight back to Denver to get to work the next day was because they were having staffing shortages, and it took them that much longer to get the plane ready to go.
Yeah.
No, thankfully, it actually worked in my favor, shockingly.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That was fun.
I
got it. Yeah, I got that. That sucked. I'm never doing that shit again. I got home at like 2 a.m. or 2:30 a.m. and went to work at fucking 5:30 a.m. Oh, fuck that. But whatever.
That's how it was for me when I got to go to Bogota, Colombia in 2019, and I had a flight from here to Houston and Houston to Bogota, and I don't remember if it was the inbound flight or whatever got delayed. So I was sitting in Houston, just at the bar in Houston for like 6 hours because it was a 6-hour delay. I ended up getting the hotel in Bogota at 4:30 in the morning, and I had texted everybody saying, "Hey, my flight's super delayed. Let them know when I landed or when I got back to the hotel." I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try and get a few hours of sleep, and then I should be at the site, the police department by, I think I said by noon." But I woke up at 7:30 on the dot. I was like, okay, 2.5 hours of sleep. I haven't done this in a long time. Guess I'm just going to get up and get dressed and go to work. And then I sat there not doing a lot because everybody else was doing stuff and they didn't have anything for me. So I was like, why the fuck didn't you tell me just to stay at the hotel? I would have done that happily. Tried to sleep some more. Whatever. And then everything turned to riots, so it didn't matter. But
everything turned to riots.
Yeah, they had a national day of protest scheduled, and they don't protest too heavily in Colombia, and that was like their first big one that they did, and it was for education reform. And then at nighttime, once the sun went down, everybody went home. And then a little bit later, the crazy people came out and went full-blown banana hammock. Just fucking lost their shit, turned into riots. Not so bad in Bogota, but a couple of other cities like Medellin and Cali, they had lots of drama with the riots. And it was bad in Bogota, but it wasn't as bad as those places. So they told us not to come in. Like, we were still there in country, hanging out, and eventually they instituted a national curfew, and they banned the sales of alcohol all at the same time, because they figured if we don't let everybody get drunk, maybe they'll calm down a little bit. I guess there was some logic to it, because it did slow everything down. And then I think we worked 2 days while I was there, got paid for the whole time, and I ended up getting to come home early by like 3 days, and more shit because they closed the airport, so all of our flights were again delayed and whatever. But
fuck,
dude, it was.
That sounds like an actual nightmare.
It was interesting, very interesting. My buddy Gary, my coworker Gary, flies American. He got stuck at the airport because they told us we can go, so he got a last minute flight out. Right when he got to the airport, they closed the airport, diverted all the inbound flights back to where they came from. And since it was already after the curfew, he couldn't find a ride back. He finally found a cab driver that was willing to take him back to the hotel. Then the cab died like 1.5 miles from the hotel, just completely died. So he's texting me. He's like, the cab lost power. We're sitting in the middle of the street. The rioters are about 2 blocks away. I'm like, oh shit, the fuck do I do? So I'm telling everybody else in our work chat, because he was texting me on my personal phone. And so I'm telling everybody else, and we had one guy who spoke Spanish, and after about an hour of him not noticing the messages, he's like, hang on, I'm trying to find a ride. Because of the curfew, nobody wanted to go, but then he must have paid the guy, ended up finding a guy in a van. They ended up going and getting him. I guess the van that this guy just happened to drive was meant for like escorting government officials, like VIP escort stuff, and was a fully armored van.
Holy shit.
Which I guess was good, because they got stuck in the middle of that mob for a little bit. And Gary's like, well, this is more terrifying than being in the cab. And the driver and Mario, the other guy, were talking. Driver told Mario, don't worry about it. This cab's fully armored and bullet resistant.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, it was like a full-blown hostage rescue.
Right.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting at the hotel. I'm like eating my stress. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck?
Right.
Trying to coordinate Gary with everybody. I was like, Gary, don't use your phone. Don't use your phone. He was only had 13% battery life left. And he's like, now I'm hearing gunshots. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell everybody else about that. So
dude.
And we were working with the Bogota Police Department, and our project manager tried to get them to go get him. And they're like, okay, cool, we'll go do it. And then they called him back and say, hey, we can't. We just have too much stuff going on. We can't go rescue your friend.
Holy shit.
Like, good luck, Gary. You should probably just get out and start walking that 1.5 miles. And
right.
he probably would have gotten killed because he was convinced they were anti-American about it, which I don't think was the whole idea. It was all about education stuff, and then it devolved. And
right, as these things often do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. It wasn't peaceful protesting. Let's just say that.
Yeah, mostly peaceful.
I just saw my cat.
I saw him too. I saw a blur
Come here, you.
hover by in the background.
Come say hi.
Mine's around here too. Ricky. No, that's not Ricky. That's the other one. It's Jaga.
Ricky and Jaga.
Yeah.
Both boys?
Yeah. We were told Jaga was a girl when we picked him up, but turns out not so much. Yeah, he's a good cat. They're both good cats.
You're good. You got a fucking gremlin.
Guess good cats is very
Right.
subjective.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, Loki's a good girl. She's crazy, but I mean that's the definition of a cat. So
Exactly. Can't fucking death metal dudes and cats, man. There's a thing there.
there's like a Facebook page for that already, or some sort of website that some of the girls I know, they're like, I can't believe you have a cat. I'm like, they're
weird.
low maintenance. They're cool most of the time.
Most of the time.
I couldn't do my job if I had a dog. Dogs are just too much work, and
Right.
I can't train them really to shit in a box.
Oh yeah. We live with a dog. He's not our dog. He's my brother's dog. But when my brother is not at the house, this dog is fucking neurotic as shit, and just like will not leave you alone, and
Yeah.
it's fucking annoying as piss. No offense to dogs. I like dogs.
I love dogs.
But
I just don't have any desire to.
right.
At least not.
Right. I'm just saying I never have, like, my cats don't ever, fuck with you in that particular way. They will get in your shit when you're working on projects, but
Yeah, like Loki literally. Like, so I'm at just it's a kitchen table that I repurposed as a desk. I got 2 monitors, my keyboard, laptop dock
Nice.
for work is right in front of me. I got the PC I built over here. I got this mixer thing I bought last year right here, and keyboard right in front of me. And without fail, the moment I need to start using my keyboard, Loki sits right in front of it or on it. And I remember I ran to the bathroom or something, and I came back and I had to start a meeting for work, and Loki had sat on the L key, and there was like 7,000 L characters just in the chat. I'm like, what the hell happened? My boss is like, James, are you okay? So I don't know. I don't know what just happened. I think it was the cat. I'm going to blame the cat. So yeah, that's pretty common.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So you guys have your first practice tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow.
We're practicing tomorrow too, unless somebody has to cancel it, because we've canceled the last couple. Well, at least I have, for work. Last weekend I was busy doing work shit, but I'll have all my shit together. And we don't have anything booked though.
Yeah.
Just probably need to work on that. I got to work on the layouts for the CD, get that stuff done. And instead of having somebody actually design the layout, Ryan, he's got a bunch of pictures that he's taken of just various things, like texture pictures.
Right.
And we're going to try and give my hand a shot at photoshopping some actual stuff. And
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but see if I can make it look like at least it sort of belongs, and get that stuff laid out so we can get the CDs ordered.
This is a great topic. We want to talk about our band stuff, because that is something that I do almost all of our artwork now.
Right. All of your merch and
Myself.
everything.
Yeah, and it didn't start that way, because I had a very rudimentary understanding of Photoshop and all that.
Right.
I was good with print layout because my former life was worked in a print shop,
Right.
but I wasn't the designer or anything. So, anyways, I picked up enough of those skills along the way that, like, at first with the band, it was like a necessity, because you got to make a flyer, you got to have some, you just
Right.
have to have something. And then found myself like really enjoying it, and then just kind of fucking worked it out. And
it's cool once you get it, once you can do stuff to, like, I even started doing very simple video editing for like some of our jam sessions, you know, rehearsals last year or whatever, even in 2020. Put those together just so we have some sort of reference. The audio is shit because we're not. I mean, we use a mixer for the PA, and I think I'm the only thing going into the PA right now. And, you know, so the audio's crap, but at least we have something to work through, give people kind of an idea of what we're doing. And, you know, it's not for really anybody but us, but I was able to work some stuff out there. And I can do audio editing between doing voiceover stuff and then with the podcast. I can make some of that shit work out pretty well, but video was new. Photoshop, I still am mostly terrible with. But, you know, unless you get in and do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've latched on to a way I like to do things, and all my shit is gonna look. I've got a thing going on, and I'm like, I'm just sticking to that, do that. But I don't know, that extra level of being attached to what I'm working on is fun for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, rather than just the vocalist, I'm like thinking about things, you know, design and concept and all that. It's fun.
I agree. I like the cover for that we bought from Samuel Nelson a few years ago. Whenever we bought the shit, we bought it and the cover for Perdition at the same time. And I actually liked the cover that we have on this one more, but I was like, well, I think the other one goes more thematically with what we have on that record. And then this one, I was like, this cover works really well for the stuff we have on this one. So I am really stoked to use it, but we didn't have, you know, I didn't contact him and say, hey, you know, how about we hire you to do a layout based on this image? I don't even know if he would, but I'm sure we worked with Trent Jacobs to do the video for Lathe, and he does a lot of really cool shit. I was like, we could hire somebody to do the layout, or we can just try and piece it together, and so that's how we're gonna go, is sort of the DIY aspect of it, and see how it turns out. If it doesn't, I mean, if it sucks, it sucks. But if it doesn't, if it all fits together at least reasonably okay, that's good for me. Like I'm cool with that. I just haven't had a lot of time. That's the problem.
Well, I mean, so I've done like all our shirt designs and like all the EP designs and stuff, but we did buy art for the full length.
Nice.
From an outside party, but I mean, I'm doing the layout and stuff. But yeah, it's like, I can't wait to show it. It's very colorful.
That's cool.
Like in a weird way.
You guys do use a lot of colors, like the greens just aren't greens. The purples aren't just purples. They're kind of almost like a fluorescent, neonish looking stuff in everything that I've seen you guys post. But I like that because it's like dark but kind of bright at the same time. I like.
Yeah, I just put fucking naked things on everything, and you know, people buy shirts. People buy shirts with tits on them. It's just the way it is.
I fully.
We figured that out early. We had like 2 designs right out the gate that a different dude did, and it was like the one had boobs and the other did not, and guess which one sold a lot faster. So
titties always win.
So yeah, they sure do. But yeah, it's been like that. Part of this process of this band has been fun for me, just being able to like figure all that out and kind of shape it into something recognizable. Right. And on brand.
That's key marketing, on brand. That's the thing where we fail. We haven't established a brand.
But see, it's funny because I think about that internally and I do it with the artwork, but I mean, I'm not going to like go out and spend a bunch of money marketing this band. You know? Like we just exist in a DIY space, and we do pretty well on Bandcamp. So there, you know,
that's good. That's good. Yeah, we got a couple of pre-orders for our shit already, which is nice. I actually thought, oh hey, you know, I've shared this on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere else that I could think of, but then I was like, I have a Reddit account. I never use it. And then I just happened to get on there. I was like, maybe I'll post this shit in Reddit. And from Reddit alone, got a few hits off of that, a few messages about it. And one guy bought and he pre-ordered some stuff, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Now, if I just remember to go back and utilize Reddit a little bit more, probably get a lot more of a following out of that alone than the Twitterverse.
Whatever you want to say about Reddit, it's a very engaged place.
It is.
Even in small subreddits. I only really have a Reddit account, so I with my toy collecting, like see and other toys and shit. and yeah, it's very lively.
I like that you call them toys instead of, you know, my action figures, because
oh yeah, let's be fucking real here.
Right. My buddies Jamie and Chris.
I'm an adult man spending way too much on fucking toy collecting.
Yeah, they have all the like the horror movie collectibles, so all the figures from Michael Myers, everybody else, and
oh yeah,
Chris, his wife, she talks a lot of shit. She's like, Chris is downstairs playing with his dolls again. I'm like, sounds about right.
I love that shit, dude. You're like a good buddy of mine. He just put up he's a huge horror nerd. So he just put up in his basement in his new house. He like assembled an old school like VHS rack and displayed all his horror VHS.
Nice. Yeah,
big
that's
Freddy Krueger cut out next to it. It's fucking perfect.
that's how Chris's basement is. That's how Jamie's basement is. Jamie, he started ordering the masks. So like he has a mask from every Friday the 13th. He's got at least one or two Freddy Krueger. He's got a couple other masks, like the mask from Jeepers Creepers. And and then he bought a mannequin and then threw it in a like mechanic's jumpsuit and Michael Myers mask on that. So he's got an actual mannequin, full size mannequin of Michael Myers in his basement. That's awesome.
So you have more than one toy collector in the band?
Oh yeah. That's so for my current band. No, I don't think any of them do. Oh, that's not true. Greg does have some of the toys, but my first band, Misanthrope, from early 2000s, my best friends Jamie and Chris, they're twins. They're the horror movie buffs, like the ones that watch fucking everything. But they had for a really long time all of their shit still in its packaging. They never opened any of it. And then finally, Chris, when he married his wife, she's like, hey, you know, do something with these. So he finally opened them. He displays them. Now he's got a display case that he got off of Amazon or something, and all of his shit is set up in there. And Jamie basically built his own basement, redid his own basement as a theater. So he's got everything lining the theater walls, and and it's good. It looks really good. And
yeah, that shit's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, I can't imagine how much money they spent on there. That's a lot of money.
Oh yeah, dude. I've got two display cases, and they're both like pretty much full now.
Nice.
And I've got one more way too expensive toy coming in March, and then I need to be like,
is it another Voltron?
Oh yeah, it's got to be. But it's funny.
You're the only person I've seen that has a Voltron collection out of all the circle of people I have. Like,
right. Well, and it's funny because so I do that, and then our drummer has a fucking far bigger collection than I have of Transformers. He's got more Transformers than you've ever fucking seen.
That's awesome.
It's like it's weird that there's just like half of our band is just like fucking spending all our money on fucking toys.
It's better than meth.
Rather than gear, right?
Rather than gear. And I think that's where my band, they spend their money is gear. Like Ryan brings a new pedal to practice every fucking time. And it's always a different pedal for something he already has. He's like, I'm just going to give it a shot. You know, Derek, he goes bigger than pedals. He has a whole amp collection. And there's a lot of money in that stuff. But
yes. Oh, yes.
I don't know if he's got them even set up, because now in his place in California is a lot smaller. He had a house here near DU that I think he grew up in. And he had that whole house to himself, and then his sister had some space too. But the amount of gear that guy's got is fucking absurd. I buy shit that I'll have and play around with for a little while and then never fucking touch again, which is my problem. I waste money on shit that I don't need. But I don't even have it on display. I live in a little apartment, so not a lot of places to put stuff. And it's a mess right now, which is why my background's all blurred out.
Oh, all good there, homie. I won't judge on that shit.
I never even have my camera on for like work meetings or anything, unless I'm at the hotel. Because
I know.
Here's the messy hotel room, but it's not my house. So
my work meetings are so fucking stupid. But we won't go into that.
I feel like there's a lot of meetings that could have been an email.
Right.
That's the nature of the beast, especially these days.
Right.
What else you guys got lined up?
So I think that's it. We've got the show that's a month from today at 7th Circle.
What is that on a Friday?
Saturday.
Yeah, I am gonna try and go to that.
Sweet. Yeah, so that's our producer buddy. His band is going on tour. It's their tour kickoff show.
Nice.
So Victim Fire is his band. They're like melodic D-beat kind of stuff.
Cool.
And then then Ashes for the Mute is a black metal band who I just listened to because I'd never heard of them.
Are they from here?
Yeah, they're from here. It's all Denver bands. And then what's the other? Celestial Wizard is the other band. They're pretty cool.
I heard of them. I haven't listened to.
Right.
I hardly ever listen to new music. And
right.
It seems like every damn day there's a new band formed here.
Denver is certainly we're robust in Denver.
That's the truth. And it's funny because I remember one of the first shows Empyrean Eclipse played after they reunited, because Empyrean Eclipse was around mid-2000s, then they broke up, were on hiatus, they reformed, got me in, we got Derek in. He was playing bass at the time, but one of the first shows we played was at Bender's Tavern, 13th and Grant, which is now like Quixote's.
Rest in peace,
exactly. Bender's. And that show was with some old school people. I think Bloodstrike might have played that one. And
nice.
I don't remember who else played it. Nexim, so Ivan Alcala's old band. Maybe it was them, not Bloodstrike. It was them and somebody else. But that brought out fucking half of the local death metal people from the early mid 2000s. They were all there for it. I was like, you guys are still alive.
Right.
That was cool. Now I go to a show and I don't recognize hardly anybody that's in a crowd if I go to a show these days. But
the only reason I do is because I've been doing all the booking at Black Sky.
Right.
So I'm like constantly interacting with all these bands. So,
yeah.
But
that's a good way to do it.
It is, but yeah, that's who else? Yeah, but yeah, so many fucking bands, and they're like the crazy thing about Denver is there's more good ones than not.
This is true. There's some skilled people.
Right.
Skilled people. And my first band, Misanthrope, we were, I would say we sounded kind of a lot like 6 Feet Under, or old 6 Feet Under from Haunted album. Kind of had that same death rock vibe. And we've been talking about we recorded we only did one record. It's been 20 years, like 20 years this week, I think, is when we did it. And that we did it with Dave Otero when he was working out of his mom's basement in Boulder.
Yeah, when he was a wee lad.
Yeah, before everybody knew him.
Right.
And he had a last minute cancellation and asked if anybody wanted to get in at a really good discount. And we're like, yeah, fuck yeah. And it's not a great record. Like, the music was simple, which is fine. But, the playing on some stuff was sloppy, very sloppy. But it was like our first time. We were all young. Like, hell yeah, we're getting this shit professionally done. Let's get it out there. And it never really went anywhere. We had a bunch of CDRs that we printed up ourselves and wrote the stuff on. And we ended up doing, we were in contact with some small independent label out of California. They're like, we'll work with you. They designed a cover and everything. We sent them a money order for like $135, and they were going to print up these CDs. We had a whole contract and everything, and then it was a husband and wife that ran the label. Well, then they ended up splitting up, and everything fell through. Never heard word from them again. Like, we lost $135, but then we broke up a little while after that, so it wasn't like a great big deal. But we're talking about trying to do stuff again, and getting everybody to meet is a very, very big challenge.
There's been myself and my old band. That talk comes up every couple of years. Like, hey, maybe we should get together and do a show or something. It'll never materialize.
Yeah.
It'll never materialize.
And that's the thing with us too. Like, I don't want to. Like, I guess they got together and practiced like a month ago, and I wasn't able to make it, but 3 of the 5 did. It was the 2 guitar players and the bass player, and they met up. And Chris, he plays bass. He had come up with a couple riffs that he wanted to work on, and he had lyrics for like 3 or 4 songs. They're all horror movie lyrics, like straight up. I mean, one of them he called it wasn't Midsummer. What was the first movie that guy made? Why can't I think of it now?
Oh,
fucking
the one with Toni Collette.
Hereditary.
Yes.
And it's literally about that movie. And
Nice.
his other lyrics, yeah, same thing about that movie or about zombies or whatever. And he said, yeah, I was talking to Chuck, the other guitar player. He's like, yeah, it was good. Chris showed us what he had come up with, and we worked on that very, very briefly, and then reverted back to the old songs from way back in the day. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do the old songs again. Like, I want to do newer stuff.
Right.
And it's just a matter of getting everybody together. Like our drummer, he's a nurse, and with the COVID situation, he's very, very leery about meeting with people because he deals with patients all the time, which may or may not have COVID, but he doesn't want to get it and spread it to them or get it and spread it to us. And then my work schedule and then everybody else's work schedule just makes it very difficult. So we haven't even got together as a full group yet, but
yeah,
we'll see. I ended up
I'm
doing
actually
some
going
hoodies.
going to my old band's bass player's house tonight, and it'll be the first time I've seen him outside of a show in a couple of years, so it'll be good.
How long? That was Parasite Hilton, right?
Yeah.
How long ago did that stop?
That, I think the band actually, finally ended in probably technically 2012 or 13 maybe.
That sounds about right. It's been a long time.
But really, we were done probably 2000, late 2011 as it kind of petered out.
Right. Yeah.
But we when one guy leaves and shit just doesn't.
Yeah, that's what happened with us in Misanthrope back in the day. Oliver's not really a death metal drummer. Like his feet, I'm hoping I haven't heard him play our stuff in a long time.
Right.
But his feet were probably, and I couldn't give a shit about blast beats.
Right.
If you can blast, cool. There's parts that I would really like to have blast, but I don't care honestly about blast beats. Doesn't mean shit to me. The feet, however, the feet are my thing. Those feet got to be on point. Yes. They got to be steady. They got to go. And it doesn't have to be blazing fast. So with our music, wasn't a big deal. But he ended up leaving way back in the day. He met a girl here who was originally from Thailand. They ended up getting married, and he just disappeared. He moved to Thailand with her. I'm like, what the fuck? So we ended up finding this kid named Luca who lived in Boulder, and we got him in the band. This kid, his favorite band on the planet is Converge. And this kid, we were outside his door, knocking on the door to his house while we could hear him playing in the basement. And I mean, just listening to him warm up, I was like, we got to hire this kid. And all of our music instantly was much heavier, much faster. And I was like, this is what I'm looking for. Even Steve, our original drummer for Empyrean Eclipse, he auditioned at one point and then flaked out on us because he was going through a bunch of shit. And so when I ended up getting into Empyrean Eclipse, he spent a lot of time apologizing to me for flaking out on us back in the day. I'm like, dude, that was 2003. It's fine. It's water. If I had a problem with you, I wouldn't join the band that you're in. Right. But so we'll see.
Yeah, that was it's weird how things can just run their course sometimes.
Yeah. And I think out of all five of us, Oliver, our drummer, he did a couple other bands because he came back at one point and then left again. And we had another drummer. We played one show with him, and then we basically broke up because we couldn't find another drummer because good drummers that aren't already in a couple bands in Colorado are hard to come by. And, I mean, that was even back in the mid-2000s. 2005 was, I think, our last show.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So I was already in the Mandrake at that point. And we got a tour coming up, and that was a solid, very established band. We had actually played with them before a couple times, and I liked what they had. So when they asked me if I wanted to join, I'm like, fuck yeah.
That band was fucking sick, dude.
Oh, yeah. That was good times. That was when I was rock star status. Didn't have the rock star ego, but I'd go to. I remember me and Addie. We went to it's either the People's Fair or Taste of Colorado. One of those things that happens at Civic Center Park, and it was just the two of us walking, and then her boyfriend at the time. And there were few different random times where people were like, "The Mandrake, fuck yeah!" And I'm like, we're at a normal people event and we're getting recognized. So I was like, fuck yeah, what's up?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's weird. Signing things was always a weird one. It's always weird to sign shit. I've
sent out more than a few seed cassettes. It's usually overseas. But,
speaking about the cassettes,
Oh yeah.
I almost completely forgot to ask you about that.
You're
How's
good.
that going? The cassette label.
Good, man. So I'm the first release is like I'm just got to get the jackets printed and I'm ready to roll.
How are you doing? Are you doing it all the printing? I don't even know.
Yeah,
how
I'm doing
tapes
it.
are made,
This is like just a 100% basement DIY project. I don't like that's. I just want to because I bought the I've got the duplicator and all that.
That's cool because I actually need to hit you up because we might actually be on board for a small run of those. But I gotta get the details from you. What's the name of it again? The label?
Alchemical Annihilation.
Alchemical Annihilation. That's right.
Yeah, that's like started as a Seed song, and I ditched it, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna call my fucking.
You should still have a song called that. That's a cool name.
I should have good tie-in. But yeah, so I'm about ready to go on that. My first release is going to be fun for me personally. It's the perfect release.
Are you doing all the printing yourself too?
Yeah, so I'm doing like the layouts, all that stuff, and then I have a printer nearby. I just send it there and pick it up, ready to roll.
Just FedEx office.
Yeah, no, it's actually a different location for the same print company I used to work for.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so just they're real good. But yeah, I just need to like the beginning of this year has been a bit of a fuck, so just kind of wait till things can just get sorted, and I'll be on the run. But I've got like 5 releases planned right now. So
that's cool.
I'll get the first one out, and then it'll be like 2, 3, 4 all in one.
Right. That's something like me personally. I couldn't give a shit about tapes. I have zero desire to buy a tape.
Right.
Because I don't have anything to play a tape on.
Right.
I like my CDs, and I respect the whole vinyl movement and everything. I get that. And the tape thing really takes me by surprise, though. I'm like, that's that was when we were putting together our first release. That was 100% my attitude on tapes. Right.
That was 100% my attitude on it. I was like, I don't give a fuck, but it seems like all these death metal nerds want to buy fucking tapes. So
it's because it's cheaper than vinyl.
Yeah, and we could do it. Our guitar player had the duplicator, so we could do it all in house.
Right.
But fuck it, that's what we'll do. It was my same attitude about CDs. I was like, I don't collect CDs anymore. I don't give a shit. I have some vinyl, but this band doesn't feel like spending the money on that right now.
That's the problem with vinyl is the upfront cost is huge.
So we've just done well on cassettes. Like, all right, we'll just focus our attention on that, and it's good, man. But I think what it was is after I spent the time designing the cassettes and all of that, I got really attached to it.
Oh, naturally,
When I got them in, and I was like, oh, you know what, this is sweet, and then it just kind of steamrolled from there. But
that's kind of how I felt with the Perdition album, since I did the whole layout, which the layout isn't anything. We have the front cover, which is also repeated on the inside the liner tray for the CD, and then the back cover. It's all the same thing. And then for the pages for the lyrics, it's just black with red text. I was like, fuck it, I just need to get this done. And even that, though, I still look at it, I'm like, I did a pretty good job. Bow down before my Photoshop skills.
It's really satisfying. But my first release for the label is not a Denver band, but after that, like, I think I want to do a lot of like not just Denver bands, but like archiving older Denver bands.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna do a release, like a double release of like all the mentally murdered stuff.
Nice.
Like just like cool shit, guys that I've known for
a long time, right?
Like and just friends, and they have cool music that doesn't exist on physical format anymore. Like just make cool like Denver relics, like.
So how does that whole process of getting it to the tape work? So does somebody send you a physical copy of it and then you burn it?
No, we're just doing digital rips onto the cassettes, and then and then we just make the master from the digital, and then you put the master in the tape duplicator, zip.
Yeah, same thing for like how CD duplication and all that works.
Right.
We use disc makers to make the last album or the last CD. We're gonna use them again for this one. And they actually have, I don't remember if they had videos about their process, like the differences between the duplication versus replication and all that.
Right.
And the glass master of the replication, because anything more than, I think, 200 or 300 CDs is much faster if they do the replication, where they make the glass master and they just stamp that shit. And they have a video about that whole thing. And I watched the video just a couple weeks ago. I was like, that's fucking cool as shit. I had no idea. Like, I knew the duplication was basically burning CDRs. and
Right.
but the replication was way cool. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
fucking dope. And
That is
you know,
dope. Yeah.
price point, I was like,
We'll definitely do CDs for the full length.
yeah, and there's, you know, I don't really collect CDs as much anymore just because half the time, you know, I forget to go get it. Like there's bands that I'll still go buy a CD for if I'm at a show or something. Oh, speak of the devil, Chuck is calling me. You know, I'll go buy a CD if I'm at a show. If a band impresses me, I'll go buy their CD. This how I've always been. If I like them live, chances are really good I'm going to like them on their CD.
Right.
Tapes, again, like it was just never...
Right.
I'm not going to go buy a Walkman. I got another friend who is... I don't know if he's in a band at all now, but he plays guitar. He's a big tape collector, and he's got at least one Walkman again. I think he's even got those little flimsy Sony headphones. And
oh, Jesus.
like, that's... You're on another level, my friend, but...
Right.
You know, if you buy a stereo system with like a receiver and all that, it's got a CD player, probably has a tape deck too.
Yeah, no, I've got a fairly alright deck now that I had to buy because I have cassettes all of a sudden, which is fucking about as unnecessary as my Voltrons. Really.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't take it on the go, but I have vinyl as well, but it's become only like bands that are really important to me, like the big albums, but I mean, I'm not going out every weekend and buying a fucking crate of records.
Right.
Like
yeah.
that.
No, that's
it's curated and manageable. But yeah, I just stopped doing CDs. But really, in the modern world, I'm mostly listening to everything digitally.
Yeah. That's most people. Like cars now. Most cars don't even have a CD player in their car stereos anymore. My car I got in 2013. It's got a 6-disc changer in the dash. So I'm like, that's fucking cool. And I'm like, I should upgrade the stereo so where like it's got Android Auto and all that shit in there, and I can do different apps on there. But I'm like, do I want the one that has a tape or a CD deck still, or no CD deck? And I'm like, I still like my CDs. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
This
totally fair.
And it's not even. I mean, I like to be able to look at the lyrics and see the liner notes and all that shit, which you can upload to Bandcamp and get all that stuff with them. So even if you just do a strictly digital, if you have all that shit there, I can get the digital booklet, and that's cool. But
I do really like Bandcamp as a platform, so I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty cool.
I'm not crazy about its mobile app, but
yeah, neither am I. Even the artist app isn't all that great because they have the artist app and then they have the regular listening app, and it's funny is I don't know if it's their headquarters. I think it is their headquarters. It's in downtown Oakland. And I drive by it like every day that I'm there. I'm like, oh, hey, all their shutters and shit are down though, so I don't think anybody's actually working out of there. But I should stop by and say hello. Like, hey, my band's on your platform. They're like, so?
Yep. I mean, it is the game in town, so. Yeah. But as far as it goes, though, it's pretty good. Could be a worse game. It's just, the change in these things is natural, and it's cool. It's cool that you can just create something and like, oh, hey, here it is.
Right. I fucking 100% agree. And I think like a lot of there's YouTube videos out from other musicians who talk about, is it worth doing a full-length record anymore? Most of them say no. They'll release strictly singles and then maybe bundle them together as an album at some point down the road. Me personally, I like having the album, even if it's just an EP, having it all at one time. But the problem is everybody, we're in a world of singles and attention spans have been shortened. And, now you don't have to buy a full album if you don't want to, whereas back in the day, you like one song, you're going to go buy the album. Maybe you hate every other song that's on that fucking album. Like Static X. That Bled for Days song was on the radio, and I was like, this song is fucking badass. I go buy the album. I was like, none of these songs sound anything like that one. Still a badass album, in my opinion. And, I wasn't like I wasted money, but there's definitely been some shit that I've bought based on one song, and I'm like, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Well, just back in the day, having to just like pick something because of what the cover looks like.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can go either way.
That's like when I go buy alcohol. Like, I know what alcohols I know I like, but if I want a new thing, half the time I'm buying it just because I thought the bottle was cool.
Right.
Fucking retarded.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. I like the batch of songs, whether it's EP or LP. That's my consumption method.
If you have the ability to record yourself or access to studio functionality where you can do that all the time, cool, do it. But if you don't, going out of your way to record a single song, all the time. Like a lot of the TikTok guitar players, they can record themselves, program their own drums, whatever, and they can release a full thing, a new song every couple of weeks. They can just put out a brand new song. We can't do that. I have nerve damage in my left hand. I used to be able to play bass and I could get away with some guitar shit, but now I can't do any of that. And my recording skills, I could come up with some decent digital shit, but that's not the same. That's not the same at all. And I thought about doing that. My friend Dale put out a synthwave album.
Oh, nice.
He's been working on for a couple years.
What's it called? Because I'll absolutely listen to it. I listen to so much of that bullshit.
Oh, fuck. What is it called? Let me look it up real quick.
Sure.
Because I can't remember what he actually called it, but it's fucking dope. Like, it actually is really good. It's got no vocals.
Oh, yeah.
I actually did a little voice acting thing on it.
Oh, sick.
And what the hell was it fucking called? It's bothering me that I can't remember it offhand.
You're good. Yeah, I was talking to our drummer last night, telling him how like the last 6 months I've listened to like far more synth music than I have metal. Like, it's weird. Just been on a thing with it.
Yeah, I have an episode towards the end of last year, I guess, that I was talking about Gunship.
Oh, dude, that band rules.
Dude, they're so fucking awesome. So awesome.
So good.
And the song that got me to them was a remix of one of their songs, and it's about the Lost Boys. And,
right. Oh, yeah. With the sax bits on there.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh.
Dude, it's so good. So fucking... I actually like the remix more than the original.
That's fair.
And it's by another... The remix was from somebody who does really cool remixes of songs. I think they have their own shit, too, but... I was fucking obsessed with it. And every time it comes on, I was like, I'm just going to listen to this song 4 or 5 more times and call it a day. But I'll have to send it to you. I can't even remember.
It's funny that it's about the Lost Boys, because I think I think that's why the synth stuff is having a moment, because now we're all old and totally nostalgic for the 80s.
Oh, absolutely. I think a lot of that started with Stranger Things. Stranger Things hit, and everybody who grew up in the 80s was like, fuck yes.
What? They get a lot of beef for that, but I don't give a fuck. Like, give me fucking beeline that shit straight to my brain. You know? Oh yeah. like I don't even give a shit how nostalgic it is. I'm like, this is fucking bumping. I'm in Blade Runner right now, guys. Right, let's go.
Blade Runner.
Right.
Oh yeah. Let me see if I can. He doesn't have this on his normal YouTube channel, which is really weird. I think he had his own YouTube channel that he started for the synth album. And it's really good. It's just him doing everything. And it's thematically, I guess, it's all one big theme storyline.
Oh, sick.
You don't really catch any of that just because there's no lyrics or vocals for anything. But the vibe for each song ties hand in hand to the rest of it, which he put in a lot of good work on it. I'll have to send it to you. I posted it.
Yeah, no, you're good. Please do.
Whenever it came out. But it was really good. Like, I was like, he told me about it, and when he hired me to do the little voice spot, the acting spot on there, I was a security guard who stops like a shoplifter or somebody gets into a little scuffle, and in the song, out of context, and you don't really get the whole point, but I listened to the whole thing and I was like, that's the tits, man. You did a good job, Dale. Good job. So I'll find it, but I'll send it to you. I gotta send you some shit anyway. So what's your favorite Seed song? That you have recorded, I should say.
That we have recorded. I don't know. I really love Moss Crotch. And that's like, it's the one we always end with live.
Right.
Because we just drag the shit out of that ending. But that was, when we wrote that song, it was like, at that point, it was so funny because the intro came really quick, and then Ryan had written that before. Our bass player Ryan had written that beforehand, and then when it gets after the intro part, it just stops and comes in with the next riff, and it's like the most fucking Celtic Frost fucking ripoff in the whole wide world. Like,
I would agree.
Yeah, and it's like we all had that. As soon as he finished playing it, we were like, "Oh, all right, so we're just gonna do some Celtic Frost now."
Nothing wrong with that.
No, and it fucking works so well, and the energy of that song is fun as shit. And for like a Doom song, it's like got a little groove, and it's just fun to play.
That's what I like, because I'm not a big Doom fan, but
right
when Doom is done, when it's got a good groove to it, even if it, I mean, obviously not the whole song or anything, but if it's got a good groove or a really good contrasting heaviness to it, that's the Doom I like.
That is the weird thing about like the first EP though, is it's where I think there's way more like death metal-y stuff on our newer songs. So that's because we got our second guitar player Matthew. He's just like a death metal guy. So that's been like, it's been fun to be a little faster, and like, you know, I love Doom, but it's like, it's a fine line. I think that's why we like putting out shorter stuff too, stuff in shorter chunks, because it, man, like you were talking about short and attention spans. That's me. Like when something gets over that 40-minute mark, I'm checked out.
Oh yeah, I think that's everybody. I think it's everybody. Right. That's why TikTok is so popular. Vine was really popular. Just 6-second videos. Right. You can communicate a lot in 6 seconds, apparently.
Yes, you can.
Something I never ever thought about, and then right as soon as I started getting into checking out people's Vines is right when Vine went under. They closed shop, and I was like, oh, okay. And then TikTok became a thing, and I was like, okie dokie, that's cool. And TikTok's shit. Some of the songs that I have on my Apple Music now were in TikTok videos. I was like, oh yeah, that song's pretty badass. I'll go find the song. I was like,
that's what's weird about TikTok is it's all the stuff that does well on a TikTok. It's not even so much visual. It's all tied to the audio.
Oh yeah, like, for sure.
Because you hear that same audio a billion fucking times with different
people using it. Yeah, it's funny because I posted the little 30-second thing for our lyric video, like our 30-second teaser for the lyric video. I posted that to TikTok, and it got flagged as a copyright violation. So there's no audio on it.
Copyright for your own shit.
I'm like, I even had that on our Empyrean Eclipse YouTube channel when the first album was released. We had the lyric video from the first song on there that Dale did, and I was like, it had a flag on there for a copyright claim, and I'm like, I own that copyright. What the fuck? Challenge the copyright, and it's and none of my podcast, like I upload all the podcast episodes to YouTube, and none of them will be monetized because on Anchor.fm, which is the host for the podcast, the intro little flute thing at the beginning is one of their sounds. And YouTube catches that and says the first 15 seconds of my podcast I'll get flagged for copyright because of that. I'm like, okay. And I can go back and use YouTube to edit that 15 seconds out. It's not worth it. Like I don't have many people. I don't have a lot of followers. Like I don't. Whatever. Be different if I was some super well-known podcast, but I'm not. So.
The ways in which technology works against us. Seed's Facebook. I can't run any promoted ads on Facebook because it keeps bouncing back as our name is pornographic. Yeah. So our name is a Facebook content violation apparently.
Wow.
So we can't use it to do paid ads. And then as soon as we get that email saying you can't use paid ads because the content is pornographic, you get the next email that says, "Oh, we're giving you a $10 coupon off, boosting your next ad," and it just ad infinitum, and it can never send in fucking requests to these people, and it's just like whatever. I don't even give a shit. Fuck Facebook anyway.
Yeah, Facebook is an absolute shit show.
Yeah, it's the worst.
You need it
every time.
At the same time.
I spend so much time on there, and I get in a fucking bad mood, reliably. I'm like, God damn it, Steve.
It's really easy to do, too. It's so easy to do. Because you're just like, the moment you start scrolling, the potential for disappointment in your friends, family, and general humanity.
And yourself.
And yourself. Like, oh my God, what the fuck? Yeah,
right.
It's terrible.
Yep.
I can't bring myself to ditch it. It's half the reason I know anything about what's going on with any of my friends, because I'm just shitty about calling people. And Chuck just called me, and I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks, but he doesn't do social media, and
our bass player is the same way, and God bless him, his life must be so much better. He doesn't touch any of it. So.
Smart.
Yes.
But then you see a lot of the people who have done stuff with social media, and they do really well with social media. And I'm like, oh.
I will say, Instagram is far less awful for me.
I think a lot of that ties to the fact that you don't you'll see memes and pictures and whatever, but you miss half of the commentary about it, which is probably why I spend more time on Instagram for sure, which I shouldn't spend time on either of them.
Right.
Twitter, maybe. Twitter's also a shit show, but I think the thing with Twitter is it's mostly text and not so much memes, or at least text with memes, but people have full-blown conversations on there, and it's not always a complete fucking travesty. And I mean, that's just the nature
I've never
of the
even
beast.
had a Twitter, so I'm like,
I had a Twitter. I started a Twitter way back in the day. I hardly ever use it. Hardly ever. I just reconnected with an old friend from way back in the mid 2000s who we went different directions because she had stuff go on. But I commented. One of the news channels posted an article, and the headline for the article was so confusing. I was like, what the fuck? And I saw it on Twitter just as like a thing, right? And so I went to go comment on it, and I saw that this person had already commented on it. And I was like, oh, they took my comment, so I'm just going to reply, and it included them in the comment. I didn't even know it was this girl I used to talk to back in the day. I had no idea it was her until she sent me an email through my voiceover website because she's working on some videos that she's doing, and she wants somebody to do the narration stuff that she's doing. She's basically starting almost like a true crime type of thing, and she hates the way she doesn't think she can read it. And she's like, and I was like, is this the same person that I knew? So I responded because I thought she'd been dead for like the last 7-8 years. So I responded. I was like, yeah, here's my rates for my voiceover stuff and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, you don't remember me, do you? And I was like, honestly, I wasn't sure it was actually you, but how random is that I just happened to go reply to a news article and it's somebody I knew back in the day. That was kind of weird, but
I had long lost. Keep the story short. Long lost family get in touch with me via my wife on Instagram.
Oh wow!
Like not too far long ago. So it's it has its uses.
It does. It does.
And I like looking at people's fucking toy collections and shit on Instagram.
Oh sure, yeah.
I'm just into that shit, but
finding the like-minded individuals that's really the only pro. Not really the only pro, but that's the biggest pro.
It makes everyone able to do shit like this too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to think of it.
Right.
I'm determined to find this goddamn synthwave thing, and I can't fucking find it. I'll have to go to his Facebook and try and find the name of it because it's something. The name of his channel is the name of the album.
Right.
And I can't fucking remember what it is, but I'll find it and send it to you. But I'm really glad you did this, man. It's been good catching up. I haven't seen you. I mean, we played a shit ton of shows together when you guys first started playing out, I think.
Right. Our very first one.
Yeah, very first one. A few other ones. We played together probably 3 or 4 times, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, you got
sounds right.
Like the moment you guys bust out the candelabra, I'm like, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
trying to be all dramatic, but
hey,
thanks for having me, dude. It's a lot of
because our stage show is like we start playing and then we play our songs faster than we ever recorded them. I'm like, man, we need to slow the fuck down a little bit. Right.
I mean, ours is essentially that we just, like you said, just stick the thing in front of us, like, spooky. But
it's like there's other bands that. Did you go to the Dark Descent Records thing a couple years ago? It was like their 10-year anniversary or whatever.
Yeah, no, I didn't end up going.
At the High Dive before all the drama. Yeah.
The dark years.
Exactly. Before everything went south for everybody everywhere. Right. I don't remember the name of the band. They're a doom band, and they had some kind of cool, heavy, sludgy, dark shit, but most of it is not the kind of doom I can get down on because it was too much of the droning out, super just hold this shit out for 2 minutes and then get into something else, and then ultra repetitive. But they absolutely wanted every single light in the venue turned off. Oh, so
that's Spectral Voice.
Spectral Voice, yes.
So that's like that's all the dudes in Blood Incantation.
Blood Incantation.
Their other band.
Yeah. They have like 3 because they have there's a death metal band.
Oh yeah, there's Stormkeep and like Wayfarer.
Yeah, like a Tonian, like a Taunton, something like that.
Yeah. They're all over it.
Yeah, they got like 5 bands, and it's mostly the same people in each one.
It's funny because we that whole thing with all the lights off. We is funny because I remember we saw them at that big open air one in Wyoming, the Fire in the Mountain, and it was funny like watching them play like out in the mountains in the broad daylight. I was like, oh, it's a different experience this way.
Somebody turn out the sun, please.
Yes, right.
Fucking, it's got to be dark, which whatever. Like, I thought that was probably a little bit too much. Like, we have to have all the lights off. Every light, like the bar is on the other side at high dive of the wall, and you can't exactly have it dark there. You need it to be at least visible to see the bar. Right. And they wanted all the lights off, but they got all the rest of the lights off, just not there's this glow, the glow off to the side. But meanwhile, some bands, if it's too dark, you can't see your instruments at all, and you kind of need to be able to see your fretboard, I guess. Luckily, the microphone, I know where that's at. Right.
Being the singer is the least burdensome position in the band, for sure.
Let's load in. Okay. I got you.
Right.
I'm not one of those assholes that doesn't help load, though. So
I can be, depending on how they're treating me.
That's fair. My mood. Yeah. Oh, my back hurts today. I can't lift your cab.
They're like, are you going to carry that? I'm like, oh, are you going to do all the booking and artwork and all that? How about that?
Yeah. I got to go run the booth to sell our 2 shirts. And, Yep.
Right.
Well, right on, man. I really appreciate that.
Oh,
Jinx.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, dude. This is
Hell yeah, man. Fun. I look forward to seeing you and hearing your new shit once that's out into the world. So
yeah, let's talk aside from this about Empyrean tapes and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So
definitely. Right on, man. Thanks, I appreciate you.
Likewise.
I'll talk to you soon. Later.
Thank you for listening to Death Metal Disco.